Hi, I'm Mark Cunningham with Grace Property Management. Well, if you're a Denver real estate investor, you may be asking the question that we are hearing from a lot of our small to medium-sized real estate landlord owners, and that is, why are rents flat to declining, and when is this going to turn around? It just seems like one piece of bad news after another. So we want to take just a couple minutes and give our analysis and share some data points of what's actually going on in the Denver rental market right now. If you're a landlord, when can you expect that to turn around? Well, you may have recently seen this news article. Denver rent hits 4-year low. Rents are at a 4-year low in Denver as concessions hit an all-time high, according to a new industry report. This is by the Apartment Association of Metro Denver, and it gave some stats. But what it's saying is rents are not just down, they're down at a 4-year low. That means if you bought a property 3 years ago and you put that rent estimation into your calculator, it's much lower than it is. At the same time, expenses are up. So this is continuing to impact us on a large scale. Now, you may not be able to see this graph here real well, but this is by Yardi. This is the year-over-year rent growth of all asset classes, single family, multifamily, commercial, industrial, listed by the major metro city. So at the top, you have New York is up year over year. The very bottom of every major metro in the United States of America is Austin. Now, right above Austin is Denver. Denver, on average, is down about 5% year over year, according to this information from Yardi. But the point is, we're leading the nation in rent reductions. And this isn't just this study. You see this in many places. One other news story, this was from the Wall Street Journal. Rent concessions are on the rise in America's Sunbelt cities. It went on to say that cities like Phoenix overbuilt upscale housing when remote workers were plenty, and during the pandemic, now that extra inventory is causing problem. It labeled Phoenix the rent concession, meaning landlords offering free rent to attract a tenant. The rent concession capital of the world is what it labeled Phoenix. You say, well, Mark, what does that have to do with Denver? Well, right next to Phoenix, number 2, a very close number 2, was Denver, leading the nation, second in the nation, in rent concessions offered to try to get vacant properties rented. The Denver apartment finders say that the average new move-in concession, the average free rent being offered to attract tenants in Denver, is 10 to 12 weeks of free rent. 10 to 12 weeks, that's 3 months. 3, 6, 9, that's 4 months. 4 months of free rent to attract a new tenant coming in. That will blow your budget numbers out of the water. But that's the average we're seeing now. Some are higher than that, some are lower than that. Keep in mind, this is Denver. Property type plays a very significant role in all of this data. Single family homes are a little bit more insulated. If you own a single family rental, that has not been negatively impacted to this degree. Now, at the end of the day, rents are simply a supply and demand story. So what can we prepare for? What can we expect to happen based upon incoming new supply? Well, Denver added 16,970 new units. These are apartment complex units in 2025. Developers have 20,000 new units underway, and then, hope you're sitting down for this, another 115,000 units are in the planning and permitting phases. Now, all of those may not get built. Hopefully they won't. But what that means is, as we head into 2026 and even 2027, there will be a flood of new construction, multifamily, Class A largely, properties coming online. More supply, less demand at the same time, means that rents in all likelihood will continue to decline through 2026 and into 2027 for multifamily. Now, if you have a single family, as I said, you're a little bit insulated, but these deals are so good in the multifamily, and these properties are so nice in the multifamily, that they're starting to attract renters who may have previously been interested in a single family, because now they can rent a brand new Class A multifamily with a garage and a weight room and a gym and a pool and get 4 months free rent. So what can you do as a small investor in Denver? Well, a couple action items as you outlook into 2026. Number one, if you have a tenant in place, you've got to focus on renewals. We saw renewal rates fare in 2025. We expect renewal rates to flatten in 2026. Don't look to get a significant rent increase. If you've got a great tenant, you need to hold on to that tenant. That needs to be priority number one for you because you don't want vacancy as you move through 2026. Secondly, if you do have a vacant, you want to make sure that property shows very well. The paint has to be fresh. The carpets have to be fresh. It has to sparkle and shine, and it must be appropriately and aggressively priced with probably some move-in specials in order to attract that new tenant who's looking around at a whole lot of other properties to potentially rent. And if you're a long-term investor and you own a condo, townhome type property or small multifamily, duplex, fourplex, you may want to seriously give thought to repositioning that property into a single family rental. Long-term single families hold their value better. They're more attractional to tenants. Tenants don't move as much. They don't have as much maintenance. They're just a great long-term investment philosophy in our view, and we've been doing this since 1978. If you're an investor in Denver, consider us a resource. If you're already a client of Grace Property Management, know that we are focused on these things for you in 2026. If we can be of assistance to you, jump on our website, rentgrace.com. Happy to be a resource, and we wish you success.